What's up with the lights?
Among Us is a game that has risen in popularity all over the world. The students of Delta High School are just some kids who have embraced the obsession of this game. During the last couple minutes of class, you can see many students playing the game. Sometimes teachers even join in on the fun. Coach Overholt and Evan Conley are just two of the many players in the school.
How did the football team convince you to play the game Among Us with them?
Well, I noticed the last 5 minutes of our weightlifting periods, they were up there and they were social distance, but they were on a game and they were talking to each other and they were trying to get these different tasks completed. So I heard them say the title of the game and I downloaded just to take a look, and I snuck into one of their games one day when they were giving out the code.
How often do you play?
Maybe 2 to 3 times a week. Again, the last 5 to 10 minutes are a period after we dress from our long fourth period. I'll jump on there and it's a lot of fun.
What is your strategy in the game?
I like being the imposter and running around and causing trouble. I take it very personally if someone kills me in the game, and I hold grudges.
What about the game Among Us do you like so much?
I like that I get to play around with everybody else in our class, and it's kind of funny just to run around, and if you're an imposter, you kill someone, just watch their reaction. They get really, really mad about it.
What is your strategy in the game?
I really don't have much of a strategy. That's probably why I don't win very much as an imposter, but I try to conceal myself a little bit, I guess. But other than that, I just kind of walk around and start swiping.
Well, there you go, students. We hope you know a little bit more about the game Among Us and the two notorious players around the school.
Many of you may not know that here at Delta High School, we have a preschool yearly that hosts 10 kids from 9:30 to 11 in the morning. Here's our story and how we keep them safe during COVID.
How long have you had the preschool, and what made you want to become the preschool teacher?
So I've been here for 5 years, and when I applied for the job, I liked that the description was that it was both teaching high school students about child development, nutrition and wellness, and that kind of stuff, but also getting work with little kids. My background is in elementary education, and so I get a nice mix of upper students in high school and lower elementary kids.
And what has been the hardest thing to deal with having high schoolers in the preschool?
Not knowing what their experience with the preschoolers or with the younger kids have been before coming into the preschool, or how they're going to interact and react to the kids. I can control how I act and react, but I can't always know what to expect from the high schoolers coming into it.
And how has COVID affected the preschool this year?
We've had to push back our start date, and our high schoolers have to wear masks just like they do for the rest of the school. We don't require our preschoolers to wear masks, but it is a little harder during drop-off and pickup since the parents aren't allowed in the building. The only other things are that we aren't allowed to do, like, birthday snacks aren't allowed to be brought in if they've been made by parents and that kind of thing. But a lot of the stuff we've been able to keep the same.
Next, we caught up with Lily Markham, a second-year student in the preschool, to find out how she deals with the preschool students as a high school helper.
So Lily, being in the preschool last year, what do you think is different this year than last year?
Our precautions that we have to take are a lot more like serious and harder.
And what has been the hardest thing for you to change?
I think that being in like the preschool with the kids, like some of them are like wearing masks and like being more careful, so just like being able to like be around the kids and help them is a little harder.
Next, we called up with a preschooler to find out how well they like preschool this year.
Preschool?
Yeah.
Do you like preschool? And do you like Miss Di?
Yeah.
Yeah, and who's your favorite person in the preschool?
Charlie.
Charlie!
Next up is Miss Young, whose daughter attends the preschool.
So, were you hesitant at all with taking your daughter to preschool due to COVID?
I was a little bit, just because I wasn't sure
like if the schools were going to cancel, what was going to happen. So we kind of waited to the last minute to decide because we wanted to see like what was going to happen.
Yeah. And how do you feel Miss Di Conley has done with the safety?
She's done a really good job. I know that they're down there sanitizing before they do their snacks and like things are prepackaged. You know, my daughter's wearing a mask like all the high school kids, so
Okay.
it's done a very good job.
Hope you learned more about the preschool. Thanks for watching.
Ms. Kroll and some Delta students took a big trip to several European countries. Aside from this trip, she has traveled to many other places across the world. We caught up with her and two of the students who went on the trip.
So, Miss Kroll, how many countries have you traveled to?
Overall, I've been to 30 different countries. Most of them have been in Europe. I've been to a lot of places in Eastern and Western Europe, and then some places south of here.
And what is your favorite place that you've traveled to and why?
Well, I have a hard time with superlatives. I like lots of different places for lots of reasons, but if you're going to make me choose one, I probably would choose Venice. I fell in love with Venice when I went the first time in 2005. Some of the things that I love about places, I love water, and Venice is made up of 120 or so islands. The streets are waterways. Another thing that I really like about places to travel is that they're big cities, that they have lots of people. And Venice is a big city. There's always something going on, a big diverse group of lots of people that you can meet.
So you took a group of students to Europe a couple years ago, so tell us about that.
I have taken 3 groups of Delta students to Europe. Traveling with students is invigorating because you get to see them experience something like international travel for the first time. You get to see their understandings of the world develop, and it's very exciting. I remember when I got to travel abroad the first time, and I like seeing when students are able to experience that as well.
And what is the craziest story from any of your vacations?
If we're talking about student trips, the craziest experience was probably the second trip that we took. We were in Paris and we were trying to give the students the experience of shopping in a grocery store because we were going to take food and have a proper picnic at one of the aqueducts. And so this guy was walking out in front of the store, and he was walking with his sister, and he choked on a piece of ham, and he fell over on the sidewalk, and somebody tried to give him, you know, the Heimlich. They tried to help him, and they couldn't, and he choked, and he turned white, and then he turned red, and then he turned purple, and then he turned gray. And as the leader, I was trying to, you know, shield our students from seeing this. But the whole front of the store was glass, and there was only 1 or 2 people ringing the patrons up. And so there were these big long lines, and our students just watched this whole thing happen. And there was so much traffic, and so the ambulance couldn't get there until, like, I don't know, it was like 20 minutes later. And we were trying to usher the kids out, but I mean, it was one of those experiences that was crazy.
Okay, thank you, Miss Kroll.
Yeah.
What made you want to go on this trip?
It was cheaper than if I would go by myself, and I gave me an experience to go through the school. It's really fun.
What is your favorite place you've traveled to and why?
Switzerland was probably my favorite. It had the Swiss Alps was probably the best part about the trip, and it was great to see all the mountains and all the other kind of.
And what is your favorite memory from going on this trip?
At one point we watched the Nun trailer, and then the next day we had a nunnery outside our house, and it really freaked out one of our people we traveled with, so that was probably my favorite memory.
What made you want to go on this trip?
I've always loved seeing different cultures, so I thought this was the best way to experience that with my friends.
How many countries have you traveled to?
We actually went to 5 different countries: Austria, Germany, Italy, Switzerland, and France.
What's your favorite place you've traveled to and why?
My favorite was Italy. It's just beautiful and everyone there is so nice.
What is your favorite memory from the trip?
My favorite memory was actually in Switzerland. An older lady came around the corner with a cane. She was blind and I tripped over it in front of everyone.
Now we know a little bit more about the class trip to Europe and Miss Crawl's other travels.
Have you ever wondered what it's like to take money from your own friends?
Well, we caught up with some of the students in the school that are part of a poker team to find out. Enjoy.
What made you start playing poker?
Me and my friends, we all had summer jobs and we figured we'd just start gambling.
My favorite thing about playing poker is just being with the boys. It's always a great time, and especially when I win money. So
It's just something for us to do. A bunch of guys get together and we just play poker, lose money, win money. It's just fun to do.
We kind of just one night we were just hanging out and we didn't have anything to do, so we all wanted to learn how to play poker. We picked it up.
I'd say it's fun, but definitely not having a job, being able to steal money from my friends, it's always a good time.
I think everybody enjoys it. We just sit around the table, make jokes, have fun. It's not really like a serious thing. Like nobody throws in like a lot of money unless like they're just feeling really lucky that night. And I think we just all like going and taking all of Justin's money.
How much money have you made?
I wouldn't say I've made money. I've definitely lost, but I think it's a reasonable amount, like under $100. So there's still hope. That's tough because I don't know how much money I've lost, so it like evens out. I'd say I've probably lost more than I've won, but I wouldn't say it's over $100.
And how often do you guys play?
We're gonna be playing this weekend, but we normally play once or twice a week.
Point to who you think is the best at poker. Now point to who you think is the worst.
Hi Kelly, what do you think about the whole boys playing poker?
Well, I think they play it as a game. They don't get too crazy about it. It's not something they obsess over. But usually it's pretty, they have fun. They enjoy it. Doesn't last too late. I know where they are at least, which I appreciate. Once in a while they'll get heated and they get worked up, but they always, at the end of the night, they're laughing about it. So I don't mind it. He's not losing a bunch of money, so it's only like, they only put like $5 or $10 in, so nothing too crazy. And that's a donation, just for the record. How am I doing? Yes, a donation. Because otherwise it'd be gambling, There we go. But yeah, they have a good time.
I am telling the truth because I owe Sam $150.
People know. People need to
Justin,
just answer the question and then let's go.
I'm saying it's under $100 of what I've lost. 180.
Just answer the question.
Next question. I want the next one.